community, our community partners came to us with the problems they had. So following Dr. Yancey, it's obvious that we as EMS professionals are uncomfortable with death. Not actual dead people, but the process of dying. And we all know death is the only incurable disease. To understand the issues in this country with palliative and end-of-life care, we must understand what hospice is. Hospice is actually the palliation of serious and terminally ill patients. It was, I believe, in the mid-'80s, became a reimbursable thing through CMS. It's assigned the last 6 months of life. Hospice actually becomes a beneficiary. So all of the benefit payments actually go to the hospice organization, and therefore the hospice organization is responsible for providing all care, whether it be in home, whether it be in the hospital, wherever the location of care may be. That's why they're very integrated into, some of you in your communities will have these hospice beds or hospice houses, and certain hospitals will have certain beds assigned to hospice. And that is to control some of those cost issues. What happens is when families revoke, they want to go to the ER or they want to get out of hospice, the hospice organization is on the hook for that bill now. And it could be a substantial amount. So imagine if a family gets toward the end of life, the patient starts the dying process, which is awful in many ways, gurgling, making weird sounds, intermittent breathing. They call 911. We respond. We don't like to deal with this, so since you call, we haul. We initiate resuscitations because we'll let the hospital decide what to do with this, because the family obviously called. They get to the hospital resuscitates, the family comes in and says, well, there's DNR, we didn't want this, so they stop. So there's a huge bill. There's the ambulance bill, there's the ER bill, the ER physician bill, and all that goes to hospice. So hospice, our local hospice, one of the agencies we work with, actually has a decision-making tree that helps them identify patients that are high risk for revocation. The three things you see there on the bottom, the first one is if patients are receiving aggressive therapy, so let's take a cancer patient who is on hospice but wants to continue this aggressive therapy. Well, that lets you know that the family and often the patient obviously hasn't accepted the end of life. So there's a high risk that when the time comes, that individual is going to call 911 and want to get out of hospice and want a full court press. The other thing are certain high-risk diseases like COPD, because you know it's a long, kind of drawn-out process in life, AIDS, pediatrics. So there's certain disease processes or criteria that put patients at risk for revoking. And then obviously if the person has a history of activating 911 and activating or utilizing emergency services, these are three criteria that put people at risk, so the hospice agency knows this family, this person is at high risk for revoking hospice. So our hospice revocation program, once the hospice agency identifies these folks, they actually refer them to us. Our community medic goes out and meets with the family. We instruct the family that if you can't get hold of the hospice agency, there's another 10-digit number to call instead of the 3-digit number. We go over all the things that we can provide, what we want to do to help them as a bridge, not to replace hospice, but to fill a gap. We then also flag the address in the computer-aided dispatching system, so that if they do call 911, a flag pops up, our call takers know this is a hospice patient at this residence. We will send the traditional emergent response if MPDS calls for that. But in addition, we send our community health medic to the scene, and we also call the hospice agency and let them know we received a 911 call from that. So this is a partnership with the hospice agency to bridge and hopefully prevent the hospice revocation. So a lot of program development went into this. We continue to tweak it on a routine basis, setting the enrollment criteria. I have actually approved this care package protocol, so patients will obviously have home meds for families, usually they're transdermal, some oral medications, usually a sedative and an analgesic, where our paramedics can administer that care package. I have made a change to the MPDS response. So if they call 911 and we get out to what we dispatch as a priority 3 or a low priority call, we offer the family, do you want an ambulance response or do you just want the community medic response? And if they just want the community medic response, then we don't send the cavalry, we just send the primary medic response. A lot of program QA that goes into this. We've had 99 patients referred so far, 43 successfully passed. We had 11 revocations, and remember, 11 out of 99, they, by their criteria, expected all of these to revoke. So although we got upset that 11 didn't work, they were actually extremely happy because 11 versus 99. We had 10 calls to 911 that ended up in 5 transports. 3 were unrelated to hospice. 2, we were actually able to communicate with the hospice agency and transport the patient directly to a hospice inpatient bed, bypassing all emergency services and everything else. And those direct admits ended up in no revocation. This is some old numbers. We still have more than 32 enrolled. But it's been very successful. The hospice agency actually pays us to enroll a patient and go out and visit the patient, and then they pay us on a per contact. There's other negotiations going on between our administration at MedStar and the hospice agency looking at more for risk sharing. So if we risk and don't take, fee for service, then we get more into the amount that you save. So there's many ways to fund this kind of thing. If you're interested, there's a new journal, Integrated Healthcare Delivery. You can look for it. I know it's an app, like an iPad app thingy. I think it's also online. But Sean Burton, our program manager, actually wrote up this article talking about innovative partnerships, how it breaks the cycle of rehospitalization hospitals. It talks more about it and some more of the outcome kind of stuff. So what I want to know is the talk is over. Can you folks in here keep a secret? Everybody raise your right hand, keep a secret. I know you're all lying because Cornell, can anybody keep a secret here? Probably not. Well, in 2010, there was a crack commando EMS physician unit sent to prison for a crime that they didn't commit. These men were promptly escaped the maximum security stockade and now hide in the Dallas Underground. Today, they are still wanted by the government. They survived the doctors of fortune. If you have a problem, no one else can help you. And if you can find them, maybe you can hire an ET. So if you notice, our fearless leader, Paul Beverly, our muscle man, Ray Fowler, the pretty boy, Brett Myers, and then the completely psychotic person, Jeff Beeson. The beauty of working with this group is you get invited to top secret things. And although my ankle bracelet did go off going through security at the White House, the Secret Service did provide me this top secret pin here. They said there's only one in the world, and if I wear this, I don't ever have to wear my bracelet again. It does work good, although ever since the alien abduction, I hear voices in my head. Somehow the White House medical unit found out that I was in the White House, and they asked me to come down because they had a very complicated case they wanted me to help out with. So I got to go in. They told me I got to wear a white coat. I was afraid it was a straitjacket, but it was truly a white coat. The White House medical unit. Very, very proud of this. So what I've learned from being in the White House is don't ask, don't tell, don't touch, don't run from the Secret Service, and bring cash. Because all this shit in the gift shop is expensive and they don't take credit cards. You have to go to the White House ATM. That White House credit union has got some amazing fees. I guess they're trying to close the deficit. So, thank you for this one last time for allowing me to be part of this club. And that's all I have to say about that.